Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Fox News, and the general Republican Party. In this breaking story, one of those four gets absolutely publicly humiliated by their own doing on camera with regards to the constant conspiracy theories surrounding the management of the California fires and the LA Fire Department and Governor Gavin Newsom. You do not want to miss what just happened to one of the most visible, powerful people in this country when they get stuffed in the face by an LA firefighter. And I'm going to show you that story in just a few seconds. But some of the disgusting rhetoric leading up to this, talking about now going off of the same Trump narrative of we're going to withhold, we're going to dangle BS on the people whose lives are at stake because we don't think you're doing it right. Take a listen to this.
What's going to happen? They're going to, just like they've done for the last 20 years, California's going to run to the federal government, and they're going to ask for money. And I think this time, hopefully, I think President Trump and the Republicans in Congress will say, look, we're just not going to keep doing the same thing again. So California's going to need a lot of money, and I feel bad. I have friends that lost homes. Some of the most wealthy real estate in the planet has burnt to a crisp, is burnt to the ground, and it all should be built back. But it has to be built back when California decides that they're actually going to use the water infrastructure that's been built in the state for the last 100 years. They're going to actually use it and allow the water to flow into places like Los Angeles. Will these people that lost their home, who have consistently voted for people like Gavin Newsom, Jerry Brown, before that, who've given money to these radical green causes, who have embraced the Green New Deal, are they going to sing from the same verse that they've been singing from for 30 years? And are they going to tell the people, oh, this is global warming? There's no issue here. This is all about climate change. If the politicians in California say that again, hopefully the voters in California will say, we're not going to take this nonsense anymore. Let's just let the water flow. Let's clean the forest. Let's build proper fire breaks. Let's have green areas.
We need competent, good governance. Now, that doesn't mean you can't criticize the governor of California for, I think, some very bad decisions over a very long period of time. I mean, some of these reservoirs have been dry for 15, 20 years. The fire hydrants are being reported as going dry while the firefighters are trying to put out these fires. And I think it's part of the reason why these fires have gotten so bad. We need to do a better job at both the state and federal level.
So do you expect, though, that Congress and Republicans will still help these Americans in need, even if they don't like their local politics in the party?
I expect that there will be strings attached to money that is ultimately approved, and it has to do with being ready the next time, because this was a gross failure this time.
I'm so fired up about this, I'm losing my voice. So in this breaking story, right now, take a look at what Elon Musk got stuffed right back in his face when he tried to do a live stream with a senior, smart, top LA firefighter and gets absolutely hammered. Here it is.
All right. What about water availability? Was water availability? I understand that was like not an issue in Malibu. Is that correct?
Was it water?
Well, yeah.
So there was water. We have several reservoirs and encinos that we use a lot. Now, just an example. If we have one building burning, we could flow 1,000 gallons a minute on that one building with the hose lays that we put in to stop it. You can imagine 1,000 gallons per house we couldn't do, right? So the amount of water we're flowing, there really is no water system that's going to keep that pace. So we have to bring in water tenders, which are these big tank water tanks that, 2,500, 3,000 gallon trucks, and they'll come in. And that's what we have to do to compensate. So they park out there, do it. DWP did a great job. They brought in big water trucks for us, and we use them as basically mobile hydrants.
All right.
Right, and then we have our own agency as well that has water tenders.
Okay. My understanding is that like along the correct me if I'm wrong. In Malibu along the coast, there was no shortage of water. In the Palisades, there was a shortage of water at a certain point. Or is that not accurate?
Well, we were flowing just an amount of water that the system couldn't overbear. That we're just overbearing, just because of how much water these firefighters were utilizing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's what you get, Mr. Smart Guy, when you think you know it all and you listen to the absolute BS of the people around you who don't actually know how this stuff functions. You may have built Tesla. Clearly, you've never managed a massive city and hundreds of square miles of 6 simultaneous fires before, because you don't know a damn thing about it. And the smartest thing I can do for you guys is, in the wrap to this breaking story, take a listen to actual people on the ground who know what went down and why this was so impossible for anyone to resolve. Take a quick listen to this.
The conditions that night were unbearable. It was a devil wind that came out. You know, that extreme Santa Ana wind condition.
Anthony Maroney is chief of the LA County Fire Department, one of the officials overseeing the firefight. He told us the devil winds hurled embers far ahead of the fire, like snowfall from hell.
Embers like this are transported in the smoke column and
something as
pushed
big as
downwind
this?
or bigger.
So this is being blown by the winds way
Thousands
beyond.
and thousands of burning embers, this size and bigger, being transported by that wind and that smoke column.
Chief Maroney says fires normally run uphill.
But with these winds, it was pushed downhill into these neighborhoods.
And sending these embers
Right.
blocks, if not miles ahead.
And the embers were being generated not only by the brush on the hillsides, but by the homes that are burning.
So I know the winds themselves are rare for this particular time of year, but Los Angeles and the area, they got a lot of experience with wildfires. They have a lot of regulation and a large firefighting force. Do you have a sense at this point why the area was so unprepared?
I think that they were very prepared. This is something that they are very used to. They fight fires all the time, but they have never seen 100-mile-an-hour winds that are fueling the fire. And those winds and that weather condition is what really impacts, where this fire is going to go, but more importantly, how they're able to try to contain it in those first few hours and days. And because it was in such a populated area, it just makes it that much more challenging to be able to get in there and secure the perimeter, but as well try to save as many homes as possible.
We hear that people were complaining that there wasn't enough water or wasn't enough water pressure. Was that a factor?
So the water system was stretched. Metropolitan water systems are not designed to sustain a firefight like this. Your viewers can't expect a municipal water system to supply enough firefighting water to extinguish every one of these houses. That's unrealistic.
Did you have enough resources? Did you have enough firefighters? Did you have enough fire engines?
No, and there's not enough fire engines for this.
Ordinarily, for one house like this, you might have 3 or 4
fire engines. We think we've lost 8,000 structures. So times 3 fire engines each, that requires 26,000 fire engines. I don't think the state of California has 26,000 fire engines. That could be at one place right now.
Your firefighters, your resources, everything, overwhelmed.
Absolutely overwhelmed.
I'm still blown away by Representative Nunes, someone from California who actually has the audacity to talk about, I hope these people, and at the same time, both Nunes and J.D. Vance want to dump all of this on Gavin Newsom, yet they're referencing over 30 years, over 20 years. This just in, Newsom hasn't been governor for that long. A week later, this problem is still active. It's still live. There are many people who've lost everything, and all of this rhetoric talking about withholding money and dangling federal funds. I got bad news for some of the folks in the rest of the country. If you're not aware of how much money states like New York and California subsidize, 9 of the 10 most subsidization that goes on in this country goes to red states, be careful about playing games like that, because you're going to wind up doing something that really hurts the people who voted for you, you jerk. All right, folks, try to stay calm. I am, albeit I'm losing my voice. Talk, discuss, converse, even with those you don't agree with. And as always, especially if you're in Southern California right now, or even getting dumped on snow across the country, stay frosty.